Well, guys, let's bring in two legal experts for more reaction. Could there have been a conspiracy at the heart of the Mueller probe? When you really read these text messages, and we'll learn more from Raleigh, North Carolina, we're joined by Saul Weisenberg, who was the #2 attorney in Ken Starr's Bill Clinton investigation, and here in Washington, Scott Bolden, an attorney and Democratic strategist. Saul, let's start with you. You've been pretty much out there saying, well, Mueller is a good guy. He's running this investigation down the line. We've had some criticism, but do these new text messages of the lead investigator in this investigation, does it give you any pause?
It doesn't give me any pause about Mueller. It's extremely disturbing. That text that you talked about, the text from August where he talks about the insurance policy, is by far the most devastating thing that we have seen about how the Bureau behaved during the 2016 investigation of Hillary's emails. Now, I will say this about Bob Mueller. I never worked with Mueller. I've talked to many people about Mueller. I have many friends who worked for him. I have friends who worked with him. I have friends who worked over him. Whether they like him or don't like him, every single one of them defines him, talks about him as a very honorable man. But he's tone deaf, and he was naive here, very naive and/or tone deaf, and it's in the team he assembled. And let me tell you one thing that people are, very important thing, sorry to interrupt, that people are forgetting about Strzok, and this was a mistake Mueller made. Strzok, even before these texts were found, never should have been assigned to the Trump investigation. The agent who was a top agent in the Hillary email investigation,
it makes no sense.
Never should have been assigned in the first place to that.
Well, here's what. Now, Scott, I want to ask you this. What I would, if I were Mueller, and it was all the scrutiny coming on the investigation, we had this Strzok, we have Jeannie Rhee, we have Andrew Weissman, we have this Bruce Orr character whose wife worked for using GPS. What I would do is I would either take a 2-week pause on the investigation and say, look, we're going to bring in not an independent counsel, but an independent arbiter just to go through all our staff and to make sure this is buttoned down now, so everyone has more belief in this investigation. Let's take a pause for 2 weeks. But he did not vet these guys for political agendas. And the appearance of a conflict, in my mind, is just as important as a legal matter as an actual conflict of interest here. This is the appearance of a conflict, and I don't believe Mueller did his job in vetting this team. You can respond.
Well, legally and from a DOJ regulatory standpoint, he doesn't have to do that, nor would it be legal for him to do that. That being said, a 2-week delay wouldn't get to the bottom of this. It's not a problem for you to have a political support or to have a political identity. You can't not hire someone because that's double negative, forgive me. You can't not hire someone because they are a Democrat or a Republican. You'd have nobody to hire. But until it becomes a political bias. Now, Strzok's emails are problematic. I'm a former prosecutor. I got to tell you, I've been involved on both sides on politically sensitive investigations. But look at what Mueller did. Mueller addressed it. He removed him from the investigation once he found out. And let's not forget, Strzok is not the only one making decisions, whether it's Hillary Clinton or whether it's Donald Trump. Yeah, of course he is. But you operate on documents, you operate on witnesses, and he's working with several other people under him and ahead of him. Doesn't mean the investigation is tainted. This is all conjecture you're talking about.
No. Conjecture? The guy is talking about an insurance policy to stop Donald Trump from becoming president.
And he was removed. What else would you have him do? Well, the Ethics Committee ought to investigate him, too, by the way. DOJ can investigate him.
Scott, why is the guy, as Saul, and you can jump in here, almost out of time, why is the guy who was Hillary's investigator in the Hillary email scandal, why is he hopping over to the Trump investigation?
Because that's not a conflict.
He never should have been. He never should have been.
I may not have made it but it's not a conflict.
Hold on. Saul, go ahead.
He never should have been. He never should have been. He never should have been, because as soon as the Hillary email investigation was over, President Trump, then candidate Trump, and other Republican candidates started criticizing very harshly the FBI. So to put that guy who was harshly criticized before you knew about any of these texts, to put that guy then in charge of an investigation of Trump, the very man who's criticizing him, is a mistake. Now, Mueller didn't do that. That was another gift from Andrew McCabe.
Okay, if Mueller is the be-all and end-all.
But wait a minute. Mueller should have taken him off. I've supported Mueller, but when Mueller took office,
I don't know why you're supporting Mueller all this time. I think Mueller is the most oversold person I've ever. He's like on Mount Rushmore for every Republican and Democrat. I've never heard more people say Bob Mueller. I mean, has he never made a mistake?
He's not perfect, but he's honorable. He's
exactly.
right.
There are a lot of people
many
who are
Republicans
who have ended up doing really
praised him
stupid
in his
things
selection
for the country. Well, I got to tell you
Laura,
this.
you're presuming something politically wrong with this.
Yeah,
and you don't have bias. You've got some facts, but you've got to investigate that and let ethics do that.
What I have, Scott?
But you don't have the bias there. And until that gets proven, there are no mistakes being made here.
We have to wait until the impeachment report is sent up to Capitol Hill. We're going to wait for that to find out that like 7 of them were sending text messages plotting to keep Donald Trump from
bias because of their political
leanings. He's not authorized to send an impeachment report. He's not even authorized to do that.
He's not even going to do that,
Laura, you're missing something really important.
That is really important.
That everybody is missing.
Go, Saul.
The role of McCabe. Andrew McCabe is behind a lot of this. He was deputy director and still is deputy director. He's the person whose wife got $700,000 from Terry McAuliffe's back.
I think all roads lead back to him.
He should not be in his position now.
Those are facts, but that's not the result.
This whole thing is one of the biggest scams ever. I'm sorry, guys. You're much more judicious than I am about
bias.
No bias. No, it's all good.
No bias.
All right,
wait till
you and I are going to go tequila shots, and I'll get the real truth out of you. All right, gents, I appreciate it. In a moment, I'm going to reveal the real reason Roy Moore lost that Alabama Senate race and the lessons that need to be learned. Stay right there.